Now Becca does that too, but hers is and the nah. And so for funny things that kids do, we say modim anachnu lach. Well, for all of these gifts and blessings, we praise you. We sing all of your blessings and praises, and we say amen. So I need to begin with a little bit of a disclaimer here, which is that I've never really studied the classics or classical philosophy, but when I have, it's been through a Jewish lens. So I bring you Aristotle, according to Rabbi Seth Limmer, a modern rabbi. Aristotle wrote Politics, a famous treatise on the matters concerning the city, right? That's what politics was all about, the matters concerning the city. To Aristotle, to be political meant to be social, to engage with other people, to build relationships, and to form alliances so that we can form a society. That's what politics is about, forming a society. As Rabbi Limmer puts it, how is that not what the Torah is about? After all, he says, the preponderance of our rituals and ethics serve to connect us constructively to the human beings who surround us. Most of our commandments instruct us on how to structure society. Torah, Judaism, it's all about how we form society and how we in that society affect one another. And so looking at this week's news, especially some of the things that came out from the Supreme Court, we have been affected. From affirmative action to LGBTQ equity to student loan forgiveness, we've been affected. Now, I recognize that we're not all on the same page when it comes to politics. We do not all stand on the same side of every issue. But with these recent Supreme Court decisions, as well as the anniversary of Dobbs and the cancellation of Roe, with the real effects we've seen of climate change this week, right? With the heat wave that's in the south and then the smoky air right around us, there are 491 anti-LGBTQ laws that the ACLU is tracking currently. Bills, I should say, not laws, bills. There's been political infighting and mudslinging and a huge rise in anti-Semitism. And so there's so much that any one of us might mourn, right? We might grieve the loss of rights and of life and of future and of progress. So what do we do? What do we do when we mourn the state of our country? Well, I'm a rabbi, so of course I look to Torah. And our portion, it's a double portion, Chukat Balak, talks about various rituals and the wanderings in the desert. It culminates with the story of the non-Israelite prophet Balaam. But one of the stories in the wilderness is the death of Aaron, the high priest, Moses' brother. The Israelites arrive at Mount Hor. They get there, and God informs Moses and Aaron that Aaron is to be gathered to his kin. He's to die, according to the text, for being unfaithful, for disobeying God. And so Aaron heads up the mountain with his son Eleazar, and he passes away. And after his death, when his son comes back alone and they know he has died, it says, Vayivku et Aharon shloshim yom, kol beit Yisrael. All the house of Israel mourned, bewailed Aaron for 30 days. The text acknowledges what so many of us know so acutely and perhaps so recently, that those first 30 days are intense after someone's passing. The grief and the despair and the sadness, it's very acute during those days. And what's interesting, though, is what I just read is the very end of chapter 20, that Aaron dies, they mourn for 30 days. And the beginning of Numbers 21 starts a new narrative. When the Canaanite king of Arad, who dwelt in the Negev, learned that Israel was coming towards him, he engaged Israel in battle. There's a shift in the gears towards fighting. And so we see a pivot from grief to action, from mourning to response. Now, again, I know this could be true for many of us in our own lives. Those of us who have suffered loss, perhaps recently, we know that the beginning is rough, whether it's 7 days or 30 days or beyond. That's really hard. And then things get a little easier. Never easy, The hole is never filled, but we get used to it. It gets easier. And we turn to not normal, but a new normal. We begin to do some of the things, perhaps, that we left behind. And so too for the Israelites, who went from mourning Aaron back to the wilderness. They went from mourning Aaron back to the things that they do in the wilderness, the wandering and the battles and all of those things. So too for the Israelites, so too for us when it comes to civic engagement. Because our Torah teaches us that it's good and it's healthy, and we need to mourn, not just at the death of loved ones, but also at the curtailing of our rights, especially when we're directly affected. And so we mourn and we grieve, however long it takes, and then, like the Israelites, we go to battle. Then we continue the fight. We get involved in local politics. We vote with our conscience and our morals and our ethics. We donate to just causes. We spread the word and march and rally. Because as Rabbi Seth Limmer teaches, this is Torah. Politics is Torah. Creating a better society and fighting for that society is Torah. Pirkei Avot, the ethics of our fathers from the Mishnah, teaches, Lo alecha hamlacha ligmor v'lo ata ben chorin lihibatel mimena. It is not your duty to finish the work, nor are you free to desist from it. It means that we're like the Israelites after the death of Aaron, where we take that break, we recharge, we mourn, and then, like the Israelites, we also go to battle. We continue the work. May we continue to fight for what we see as right and just in the world, for while the work may never end, neither can we desist from it. And so please join me in turning to page 341 as we read those words from Pirkei Avot. Lo alecha hamlacha ligmor, v'lo ata ben chorin lehibatel mimena. It is not your duty to complete the work, but neither are you free to desist from it. Page 341, Lo alecha. And so we look towards a future in which we did not desist